Hello. First of all, am I speaking here? First of all, apologies for being late. Wasn't my fault, honest. You have to look at the whole global position of publishing to understand the influence of the Americans. Publishing is essentially, I hate to say, dominated by the English language. The English language is the biggest book market in the world, and you can't gainsay this, you can't argue it, it's huge. We've got not only many large English-speaking countries like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, but also many countries in Northern Europe in particular buy English language books in large numbers, and so the dominant language in publishing is English. The dominant country in English is the USA. So it's going to be natural that the American books, American writers, seem to dominate the publishing world. It's not just science fiction and fantasy, it's all kinds of books. Now, next thing is, what is America? Now, the thing about America is, it's an exciting, innovative place. It's full of ideas, it's full of changes and interest in the future, and so science fiction has come naturally to them. And we get the best, probably the best known and the best science fiction has come from the USA in the past, traditionally. Also, some of the worst science fiction has come from the USA. It's inevitable. You get the good and the bad. But then that's true of everywhere. It's just that in Britain, for instance, we have some good writers and we have some bad writers, but there aren't as many of them. So they're not as important. For me, the particular interest is that there is a real difference between the English written by Americans and the English written by British people. They're like two languages. They look the same. Oscar Wilde once said that Britain and the USA were two countries divided by a common language. And that is always true. A lot of the books which are written in Europe and get translated are, for economic reasons, for commercial reasons, translated in the USA. So many of the books we read by French writers have kind of funny French slang in it, funny American slang, which doesn't really work very well. And that brings me to the real subject, which is to what I've always tried. I've been coming to France now for around 40 years, speaking to fellow writers and seeing what's going on here. And I always leave France with the same feeling that there's so much going on here that is unknown outside France or the immediate French-speaking population. And it's true in Italy too. I've been to Italy and I've seen just the same problem there. And what every writer should concentrate on doing is trying hard to get books into English, because once you're into English, the door's open. You can then start translating into other languages. It's very difficult to get a French book translated into Swedish. However, there are dozens of translators who can translate English into Swedish and vice versa. So it's an unfortunate reality, but what I would always urge European writers to do is to think of the English language market and do everything you can to get the books over to English, because then the door's open. I know it's difficult, but the best way to do it, in my view, is if you have a book which you think you can get into English, is to get a part of it translated into English, pay for it. Get an English speaker, a native English speaker, preferably somebody who has some experience of literature, to translate a part of the book for you in English. You've then got something to show publishers in Britain and America. Because I assure you, the British and American publishers are extremely insular, and they are very reluctant to read anything in any language that's not English. So that's what I would say. So, it's an embarrassing situation. I always feel embarrassed when I come here. I mean, I meet my equals, people who are at my level of the same level of writing, the same level of career. And I'm published in France, but they're not published in England. And I think that's really unfair and probably detrimental. We were talking about Ayadal, who died last week. And he was a great writer, but he was never published in English. And there's something that's lost to the world, because the rest of the world doesn't know about Ayadal. The French understood him, nobody else did. And that to me is a tragic situation. Francesco?
Aren't in this way continuing this system, giving more to the English language? I mean, they are eating all the stories. I mean, you're suggesting, of course, very right way to have our stories translated, but in this way we are feeding again the English monster. he will continue to strive. Yeah, I think there is no easy way out. I'm seeing, for example, the Chinese language is coming out strong with, it is a kind of cultural battle going on. Yu Jingxing has just won the award. It's been lucky to be translated by Ken Liu, but we will see more things coming from the East, also because of the influence of China, of course, and the language they speak. Aliette?
Sur Three Body Problem, je veux juste faire la remarque qu'un des gros obstacles, comme mentionnait Chris, d'être publié en anglais, c'est qu'à un moment ou à un autre, il faut faire payer la traduction, et que les éditeurs anglophones n'ont juste pas l'habitude de ça, en fait. Ça fait pas partie du budget. Donc quand ils vont voir le département marketing et qu'on leur dit en plus il va falloir payer un traducteur, ah bah non, ça va coûter trop cher. Et du coup, ça devient un boulet tout de suite au pied du livre. Et le Three Body Problem, la traduction a été payée par une agence du gouvernement chinois qui promeut le rayonnement culturel chinois. Donc je ne sais pas s'il prévoit de faire plus de choses comme ça avec d'autres livres qui seraient des classiques de la science-fiction en Chine, mais c'est sûr que c'est un gros avantage du point de vue de l'éditeur anglais qui est ça y est, ça c'est fait.
On voit souvent dans l'édition, en fait, sur certains pays, évidemment pas les pays anglophones, mais effectivement les gouvernements qui mettent un petit peu la main à la poche pour aider à la traduction de certains livres. Aliette, toi qui as vu le monstre américain de l'intérieur, entre guillemets, comment, peut-être, tu as commencé à le dire, on parle d'influence américaine, mais en ont-ils conscience? Et est-ce que toi tu te sens une Européenne qui écrit de la SF en anglais à destination des Américains, ou est-ce que tu n'y fais pas vraiment attention?
J'y fais vraiment pas attention, en fait, honnêtement. J'ai commencé à écrire de la SF parce que j'ai commencé à lire de la SF quand j'habitais en Angleterre, et donc je l'ai lu en anglais, et j'ai continué à écrire en anglais. Donc comment dire, quand j'écris, j'y fais pas vraiment attention. Après, c'est quand même vraiment difficile d'ignorer le fait que dans la salle, il y a le mammouth qui écrase un peu tout le monde des États-Unis, et que, comme toute jolie hégémonie culturelle, ils s'en rendent même pas compte. C'est ça qui est dramatique. Alors bon, je vais pas trop mettre les pieds dans la controverse, mais cet été, donc il y a eu les Sad Puppies pour les Hugo, donc qui est une faction ultra de droite aux États-Unis qui ont décidé que la science-fiction progressive, non, on veut revenir aux années 50, à l'âge d'or de la SF. Et ils ont commencé à avoir des batailles sur Internet, et la plupart des gens qui étaient à l'extérieur des États-Unis, qui regardaient ça, ne comprenaient pas, parce que c'est quelque chose qui est vraiment entre deux factions politiques libérales et pas libérales des États-Unis. Mais vu de la fenêtre, par exemple, de quelqu'un qui habite en France, c'est excusez-moi, il y a deux factions de droite qui sont un peu en train de se taper dessus, et je comprends pas trop. Et c'est vrai que c'est très compliqué de les faire se rendre compte qu'en fait, c'est pas naturel. Pour eux, c'est complètement naturel d'écrire en anglais, de vendre des droits de traduction. Ils se rendent pas compte qu'il y a un déséquilibre, en fait. Ça leur vient pas à l'esprit que quand vous habitez en France, quand vous habitez en Italie, quand vous habitez en Roumanie, c'est super difficile de passer dans l'autre sens. Et pourtant, les faits sont là, quoi. Je crois que c'est 50% du volume des traductions dans le monde qui sont de l'anglais vers une autre langue. Et d'une autre langue vers l'anglais, je crois que c'est quelque chose comme péniblement 3%, ou quelque chose comme ça, de nos jours. Donc, c'est massif.
Oui. Actually, one of my great pleasures is seeing two right-wingers beating shit out of each other.
You're an unkind man.
Yes, so we were very happy with that. But now I was going to say about my personal experience, this may surprise people here. The novel I'm perhaps best known for in France is Le Monde Inverti. When it was published in England some 40 years ago, it came out to non-existent. The market wasn't interested, it got poor reviews, and I felt really depressed. It then was published in the USA, and it released The Hounds of Hell. It got such really negative reviews. It was no one liked it, everyone hated it, but the New York Review of Books actually published a review which said, I don't know why these British writers keep writing science fiction. We've got perfectly enough good writers here. We don't need anyone coming in from bloody England, you know. And then, very fortunately for me, about 4 months later, the book appeared in France and saved me from suicide because